Okay, so HAMNET is this big Oscar darling movie that's out. I did not like this movie a lot. I will say there's been a lot of praise for it. A lot of people in my family, I didn't think this was, good. They were like, oh, Marty Supreme sucked, but HAMNET was amazing. Also, I feel like I should start with a bit of a spoiler warning. I'm going to tell you guys here, because the movie itself is a spoiler. I first of all, I hate that. This is separate to my opinion of the movie. But going into this movie, I feel like, you shouldn't know too much. People, though, it pisses me off, people going in being like, oh, it's not a spoiler to say, but of course, the movie's about Shakespeare's son dying, and it's like, why do I need to know that going in? I mean, I've known that for a while, but that doesn't happen until an hour and 15 minutes into a movie that's 2 hours. So an hour and 15 minutes of story, and then there's the rest, the 45 minutes, which is a very strong emotional part of the movie. I did not like this movie, though. It has great craft. There's no doubt about that. Steven Spielberg produced this movie, and it won Best Drama at the Golden Globes, which was an absolute shock to me, considering you had Sinners up there also. Even Chloe Zhao was like, oh, thank you, Ryan Coogler. She probably was like shocked herself. And it's fine for a movie like this to, get the recognition. This is a total Oscar bait movie, though. I say that with no real true bias in my heart or prejudice towards the movie. It's simply that films like this, are well crafted, but when they get sweeping heaps of praise, I just kind of think like, is this really that special? It feels like the feature type of short, like depressing short you'd see at a student film festival. Now, I'm being really mean, but this movie is well crafted. Let's give praise where praise is due. Chloe Zhao is a fantastic director. I think the source material is so fundamentally broken, it's one of those cases where no matter who made it, I just think the idea here isn't a great movie. It's very exploitative of grief. It's very exploitative of being this Oscar drama because it's about William Shakespeare and how he's inspired to write his play Hamlet. I haven't even read the book this is based on, so I can't really speak for that. And as a movie, however, it's this visual story that, it looks great. It has this kind of purposefully gray and toned down, ugly look. That's always very carefully manicured. Chloe Zhao is a great filmmaker. I loved Nomadland, which won Best Picture back in 2021, because that was a dead year. There really was nothing else out. And Nomadland was a well-made movie. That was a movie where Frances McDormand played a woman who lost everything, and it cast real-life people. That's a movie that if you're going to take this kind of exploration of grief or exploration of real loss, you need to mold that into something that people can, I feel, relate to. I think she was able to accomplish that with Nomadland, and that certainly got all the praise. It won the Oscar. But I can understand that. It felt like a very distinct, handcrafted story that was telling a story of a woman. No one someone you wouldn't think of. Frances McDormand is just a nomad, a drifter who has no home, and she's trying to make her way through the world. And they crafted a story out of that. That's a great use of an indie platform, in my opinion. A movie like HAMNET, though, is just so roll your eyes worthy, and for good reason. There's other great movies out there, and someone mentioned Incendies, a movie that deals with complex themes of trauma and grief and family, but it doesn't rub it in your face. The camera angles in this are meant to make you emotional. There's close-ups of people crying, the close-ups of the hands being held. The final 20 minutes to me was so annoying because I just feel like they just took a scene from Hamlet and they added the Max Richter score, On the Nature of Daylight, and it just creates this visual palette that just is so easy to emotionally manipulate you. I feel like it's supposed to be like disguised as this complex thing, but it's really not at all. And I'm not asking for something super complex or something that has to be so pretentious. It's just that the movie itself is pretentious. A recent film that dealt with grief, Manchester by the Sea, I thought was great. It was written by a playwright, Kenneth Lonergan. Movies like that also aren't so big nowadays. It was a simple story, and it was about a family trying to move on. and there weren't these exploitative close-ups and, ugly, purposefully ugly scenes and the music doing all the heavy lifting. That to me is kind of like a cheat. There's also Blue, Three Colors Blue with Juliette Binoche, the French movie from the 90s. Another great movie that just depicts people trying to move on after a loss. And it's just that simple day-to-day going through it, the pattern of it. It's a beautiful movie that is basically a bunch of, not vignettes, but a bunch of different scenes in this woman's life. And that has a great use of classical music near the end, doing a bit of heavy lifting for the climax, but I think the movie itself is so well crafted that it kind of warrants it. I just think Hamnet it just annoys me that this is this big, one of the best movies of the year. There's a lot of other great movies. I thought Roofman was a better movie, just at telling an emotional story, and leaning into the niche little, golden nuggets of someone's life that you get to see depicted on film. After all, film is a medium. It's not a play, it's not a song, it's not a book. It's something you can only distinctly appreciate on a screen. And I don't know, I just feel like Hamnet, to me, is a bit derivative of these other kind of sad, slop, pretentious movies. It looks fine at parts, but it was nothing I haven't really seen before. So let me know what you guys thought of Hamnet, and thank you guys so much for watching my review. Let me know what you want to see next.